Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for attending my live today. For those of you who follow me, you'll know that I hold these lives periodically and webinars, and similar to help get accurate information out about the EB-1A. As I do consultations over and over, I um, notice there's just a lot of misconceptions, and our focus is on science professionals, tech professionals. So we do these a lot, and I do a lot of consultations in this area. Um, so I wanted to at least take a few minutes today to explain, maybe some like 3 tips that will help you if you're interested in applying for the EB-1A as a tech professional. But before I start, I would love to know 2 things. First, do you think that you need a PhD to apply for the EB-1A, even as a tech professional, no matter what? Um, Hopefully the comments are turned on and you can just leave a comment, but that's one misconception. The second one, how many of you think you need publications or you need thousands of citations? Again, you know, another misconception. You can, raise your hand in the comments if you're able to. But I spend a lot of my time when I consult with tech professionals explaining that those 2 are not required. And it's kind of, it is required probably, really for research scientists, people like that who, whose occupation it is to research and write and things like that. So, okay, let me get going. First, my name is Priya ALAGARI. I'm the founder of the ALAGARI Immigration Law Firm. As I mentioned, we focus on NIWs, EB-1As for tech and science professionals. I have been through this journey myself, which is why I really take it very personally. I try to help, especially in the tech and science fields, because that's my family background. And yeah, it's a personal journey for me as well, and I want to help other people, and part of it is getting the right information out. Okay, enough about me. So, um, 3 things I would like for you to keep in mind if you are considering the EB-1A. If as a tech professional, again, it's different if you're in other fields. If you're even in the middle of your EB-1A. So what I often explain to my clients is first thing, keep in mind, USCIS is not tech savvy, I guess is the right word. They don't have engineering degrees or chemistry, anything like that. They are not, they don't have a background in tech. So what does that mean for you? So if you keep that in mind, you have to explain your accomplishments in a very straightforward, kind of simple way, but you still have to get across your accomplishments, which if you're in the tech fields, you might have to use some jargon. And I think, it's kind of a fine line because you do have to make sure they understand you and they don't have that tech background. So keep that in mind as you're preparing or thinking of preparing your EB-1A. The second thing to keep in mind, again, which is unique for the tech fields, is how do you define your domain? So for the EB-1A, if you don't already know, you have to fall within one of 5 areas, and one of the areas is sciences. So and engineering, computer science, all of that falls under the sciences. So, but you would never apply for EB-1A, or you shouldn't, just saying, I have extraordinary ability in the sciences. That would not work, because that's, what does that mean? And how do you even show that you're extraordinary in this massive, broad field? So narrow it down as much as possible. That's my second tip, like your field, your domain. So I not even just software engineering, drill it down even more, to you know machine learning. And if you do machine learning, in what space? Machine learning and cybersecurity, or even AI is would work, but it should be in a particular space, because then you can really show off what you've done, um, in your field and in that particular space. And it's almost like, you're conveying that you are, niche, and you are at the top of your field in your niche, which is actually easier to prove than you're in the top of your field in, engineering. Um, and then finally, the third tip is the criteria, right? So again, almost everyone I talk to thinks they need publications, which is one of the criteria, or PhDs. That's not one of the criteria, but for software or tech people, the four criteria that I see over and over and over, that you can probably make a case for, organically, just by living your life and carrying on your career, your journey. The first one is judging. Almost every single person I speak to can qualify under the judging, category. Second one that almost everyone, I speak to in the tech fields, again, would qualify under is compensation. And I don't know if any of you are on H-1Bs or any other types of visas, but there is no wage requirement for the EB-1A. So you just have to have a high requirement. And as long as you can prove that it's high in your field, then you can make that work for you. And then the third criteria that I think tech professionals can very easily meet is leading or critical role. So you don't have to manage people necessarily, but as long as you have a position in your organization that's essential, to advancing the organization's interests, almost always there's a way to prove that one as well. And then finally, the one I see, and I think this last criterion it's the hardest to really convey to an immigration officer, and that's your original contributions, of major significance. So I probably spend most of my time when I talk to clients on this one criteria, because it's a little confusing. I also think it's confusing for the immigration service. They don't seem to, every time, I have an interaction with the immigration service, on this criteria, it's like all over the place. So the first part of this criteria is showing, the original contribution part, which is something that's novel. You just have to show that it's the first time, or one of a kind, or cutting edge, accomplishment in your field. Some you don't need a patent, but some do have patents, and that, of course, would show that it's novel. So you don't need a patent, but it would be the type of thing that you maybe would get patented. And then finally, the second second part of that criteria is the, major significance part. And that's where I see the immigration service all over the place on trying to, they don't seem to understand what's meant by that. And, it's really on you to explain to them how your contribution has impacted the field in a significant way. And that's where, again, you have to keep it simple so they understand, but you have to still convey how extraordinary your contribution is. So that's it for my live today. Hope that was helpful. DM me, email us, call us. We'd love to help. And I hope to see you at a live again soon. Thank you.